Alright guys, how you doing? It's Revere, hope you're all well. So this is Q&A number 4. Thank you so much for all the questions you guys have been asking. And again, if you've got any more, anything, please put them in the comment section below and I will answer them. So anyway, let's get straight to it. First question from Sam White. He says, "Hey man, first of all, Toska gig in Sheffield was mint. Loved it." Thank you very much, man. For all those that don't know what mint means, it basically means good, great, awesome, that kind of thing. So thanks for that. He says, "We'll see you in another year for another weight loss picture." Anyway, my question would be, if you weren't in the music business, what would be your ideal career? To answer that really easily, it would be art, because before music I did art, and that was kind of what I did as a kid through to being a teenager before getting into drums and guitar. And from a young age I kind of, for some reason, I was good at it, so like my teachers were pushing me to do that as a career, and I had a lot of support from my school about it and all that kind of stuff. And then found drums and guitar, got into that because I found it way more enjoyable. And yeah, then I suppose I stopped really doing it very much. I've definitely still got a brain for art and design and the way things should look visually, and when it comes to just cool ideas for, you know, merch and album art, that kind of stuff. Me and Dave always do merch designs together because we work well, just like we do with music. We have a similar kind of taste in all that kind of stuff, so we're always doing the merch designs together and the album art and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. But yeah, that would definitely be what I'd be doing as a career if it wasn't music, because I still really enjoy it. I doodle all the time, but I used to do painting, fine art, oil pastel work, that kind of thing. But yeah, maybe one day I'll get back into it. So thanks for that question. Next question is from Flint Hanbury Tennyson, and he says, "Hey Rabea, how do you pick amps and pedals? I find it so difficult. How do you do it?" Good question. To answer that one quite easily, I would say it's about having a clear picture in your mind of what you want before you get to the shop, because once you turn up there, everything's in front of you, all your amps, pedals, everything's, there's so much to choose from. It's going to be pretty daunting to think, I need to walk away with one of these things or two of these things. So I would say have a clear idea of what you want. So if you're talking effects and pedals, are you looking for reverbs, delays, are you looking for modulations, you know, and then think about that, and then maybe do a bit of research online, see what's out there, see what's hot, see what's going on right now, anything that's been released or anything that's highly rated. Go and look on YouTube, find some demos, that kind of thing. But if you're talking about an amp and there's, say you've got 3 or 4 options and you want a high gain amplifier, how I would whittle it down to the best option for me would be, it has to have a good high gain tone, but it does need to do more than just high gain. It needs to have a dynamic range to it, so it's not just full bore all the time. Like if it doesn't clean up really well, then I wouldn't use it. If you can't dial in a lower gain tone with it, I wouldn't use it. It needs to be able to handle low and high gain tones and then a range of different dynamics for me, so that I can do my push clean ambient stuff. So it needs an effects loop and then a couple of channels for different voicings, so you've got a bit more to play around with. But yeah, hopefully that helped with that. When it comes to pedals, I suppose when I'm talking about drive pedals, I don't want it to sound like it's sitting on top of anything else, unless you want it to blend. Otherwise I would say go for something that's got a really good range of features, good range of tone, and the EQ on the pedal doesn't want to be too drastic. It needs to be tasteful and supportive of the whole tone, rather than I'm turning treble all the way up, it's going to get harsh, you know what I mean? If I want specific sound effects for sections in songs, then I look at all sorts. I use fuzzes, weird crazy fuzzes, weird random effects, just stuff that's creative and gives me a bit of a picture in my mind of something I could use it for in a song. But yeah, definitely have a clear picture of what you want before you get there. Next question from Eugene says, "Hi Beer, how have you started making your videos? How to overcome phobia of a crowd?" I think what I'm sure what he means there is either talking to a crowd in a live show or talking to the camera for you guys. Maybe I'll start with the live thing first. I suppose when we're playing with Dorje, Rob is there, he's the front man, so it's nice because I don't have to rely on me to talk to the crowd necessarily. But we do have a lot of fun, like we have a good bit of banter, and it's nice to talk to the crowd as well. I guess I just sometimes get a bit awkward. When it's Toska and it's my job to talk to the crowd, it really dependent on if they're like being quite up for it and happy and energetic, then I feel that way and I'll bounce back. When they're quite sort of focused and quite still, in a lot of prog gigs you see people tend to just stand and watch because they're taking it in, but that is difficult when you're trying to talk to them and try and rear people up, because it's aggressive music and I want people to feel that rather than you just sort of stand still. But if that's how you watch gigs, then great. It's not for me to tell you that. It's just when you're talking to a crowd, you want some sort of something back so that you can feel where people are at. Are they enjoying it or are they not? So how to overcome that? I would just say you're there, people are there to see you, you're on stage, you have their attention, so make the most of it. Just enjoying the moment while you're on stage, sharing your music to them, and it's all appreciative. It should feel mutually beneficial for both parties. They're getting something out of watching you and you're getting something out of playing your music to them, and as long as you remember that, it shouldn't make you feel scared because, you know, as I said, they're there to see you. So just enjoy it. Don't feel there's too much pressure. It's all about playing music, having fun, and trying to create a comfortable environment for everybody. And if you can do that and do it with a bit of finesse, then I guess like that makes a good frontman. So it's working out how you feel you should be to them in a way that is still endearing and captivating. If we're talking about talking to a camera, well, that's a completely different skill that I've kind of learned over the last few years, and it's weird because, like, of course, I am sat right now talking to a camera by myself in my house. There's no one here, Hannah's at work, and I'm sat looking at this camera. And it is a bit like, well, yeah, it's just a camera. But I guess I suppose the way I see it now is I'm thinking of that as like a room of people, or at least there's something, rest assured, in my mind going, well, there's going to be someone hopefully on the other side of the screen in wherever in the world watching this video, so I feel like I'm talking directly to you. Hi, how's it going? And that's kind of how you feel about it. You just get used to it and you just switch off from the fact that there's a camera sat there in my room. But yeah, if you can do that and just forget about it and crack on, then I guess hopefully it feels natural and that I'm just having a cool conversation. So it's about blocking certain things out. Basically, block all the negative stuff out of your head. Just think about it like, this is fun, I want to do it, and hopefully people will enjoy it, whether they're physically in the room or not. Okay, next question's from Catalyst Collective. Says, as someone who is widely influenced by beautiful ambience and heavy sounds, I get inspired by your playstyle. Thank you very much, man. Says, my question is, are there particular chords that you find go well with an ambient tone, and what theory, technical guitar knowledge should I focus on as someone who aspires to write with ambience in mind? That is a great question, and I appreciate the kind words. I would say my approach to chords, I mean, I spoke about this in a different video, but like my approach to chords is to find cool intervals. So I'm fragmenting chords across all the strings. So I'll find my root, then find a couple of sort of mid-range intervals that work, and then maybe one in the higher range. So like you're talking one string, like for the sake of ease, your E string, your D string, and your top E string, and see if you can find cool harmonies that work together across those octaves. It's quite nice to do that, and as long as you've got reverb and delay subtly, or reverb more so than delay, but as long as you've got that ambient pad swelling sound underneath it, it shouldn't really sound too bad. Then I tend to arpeggiate a lot. I don't really strum in with a lot of reverb and delay. It doesn't work too well. I tend to arpeggiate notes and change the picking pattern that I'm doing, and then come up with a cool melody, combining both palm mutes and open, you know, letting them ring out and all that kind of stuff, to try and find something that creates rhythm, maybe works with delay to bounce rhythms off each other, and generally creates a mood. So there's not really a theoretical knowledge as such, but technique-wise, yeah, a combination of finger picking, palm muting, open strings, and fragmenting those chords across a couple of octaves. When you've got the reverb and delay supporting that, generally does sound pretty epic if you can find a good pattern that you can really get into and play with the dynamics of the notes and the velocities of which you're hitting them. It's just fun. You just get more into it and you start to think about it like, this is a scene that I'm creating in my mind. This is like a picture, and I'm starting to add different moods and vibes here and there. So just experiment, man. It's a lot of fun, but hopefully that helped. Okay, last question is from Harrison Henley. We've seen two sides to Revere in the past, the hard rock metal Revere with Dorje and the prog rock songcrafter with Toska. Thank you very much for that. Says, but recently we've been seeing a much lighter, more traditional sounding Revere who plays strats and vintage sounding stuff. What brought on this new side to your playing, and do you plan to do anything creative with it, e.g. a new project? I really appreciate that question. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, you're not wrong in saying that I've definitely branched out from what I did. Well, it's kind of weird. When I started out, obviously got into virtuoso guitar and like that kind of stuff, and Nuno, and then I noticed he had a funk element to his playing, so then I got into funk and like rhythmical playing, chordy stuff that was cleaner inherently. And then when we started the band stuff, we just got into heavy music, and then it just went down that road of songwriting and heavy music, so riffs and just songs and hooks, and I just focused on that for ages and ages and ages, and then grew up doing that a lot over the last 5-6 years. Really wanted to hone my songwriting skills more so than my shred skills, or like, you know what I mean, like lead playing or whatever. But as I've got older and come back round to the idea of putting more effort into that side of my playing, I realised that I'm less bothered about playing really fast up and down the neck. I feel really more about, if you're sat in a room on your own and someone's listening to you play guitar, can you make it musical, and can you make them feel like they're listening to more than just a guitar? Like there's chords and there's like rhythm and there's lead lines and stuff. Prime example of that, someone like Matteo Sasato or Joey Landreth or Pete Honore, like these guys, and that style, it's like melodic blues, like educated blues. Those people, just a few examples of that, and I've always appreciated it and always really loved listening to people do it, but never thought I'm going to try and do that. And John Mayer is another good example. Just as people that had this taste and these nice chords. I've always had a thing for chords and melody. So like getting a Strat seemed like the right thing to do for me. And then realizing that when you listen to guys like Philip Sayce, that can really give you the attitude from the blues playing in such a way that's really technical and powerful, but still has that vintage vibe. So all these influences I've been getting into over the last few years, and they've made a big difference to my playing. Like I really feel like I've learned a lot more about harmony and melody and the cool kinds of things you can play, and just it helps songwriting, you know, thinking about chords and stuff. Yeah, there'll definitely be a project one day to do with all that stuff, because I do love playing like that. I don't know when, but it will happen, I promise, because it's a big part of my playing now. But yeah, thank you for the question, thank you for noticing that. And yeah, it's like just another string to the bow of things I'd like to be able to do as a guitar player. So I love my virtuoso leady kind of stuff that I want to try and be able to play. I love my songwriting, riffing, ambient, like songcraft stuff. I really, that's the biggest part of my guitar playing life. And then yeah, of course, melodic, bluesy kind of, I don't know, like more mature, I guess, than I have ever tried before. That's another big part of my playing now. So there'll definitely be a project. Cool, so that's all the questions. Thank you very much for those. And of course, if you have any other questions, anything at all, bang them in the comment section below. I will reply, and I'm glad you guys want me to keep doing this because it's a lot of fun. In any case, hope you all enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and share, and I will see you all very soon.